All right, it's just me. I'm gonna tweet it out. I'm so tired of tweeting it out. I don't want to tweet it out anymore. It's not fun. Okay. HTTP Twitch TV Granulac. I'm back. Going live now. Live now. Going live now for an hour. I don't need to say how long. Just do it. Just do it. Why do I need to say how long? Why do I agonize? Time to go live. Just so you know. I've become live. Okay. I've done it. I'm live. Hello. I don't have to tweet it out. I think you're right. I'm pretty sure I don't have to tweet it out. Like, what am I doing? Why am I putting myself through this? Like, these are learned behaviors. This is shit that, like, Twitter has been around for 20 years, right? And I have just been whipped into the shape of the fucking bird. Like, I'm still like, ugh, I still flinch when some Twitter like shit comes at me. And I need to be stoic. I need to learn to be stoic. I think we all need to remember that we were these noble beasts who roamed the open prairies before Twitter ruined our lives, right? Those of us who were born, we were better than this. We were, right? Right? No? Weren't we better? No? I don't think we were. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. It's noon. It is time to celebrate. I'm gonna talk. Twitter can't keep you away from the open prayer. That's true. That's true. But I'd like to forget. I suppose you can never forget. You can never go back. You can't be as unburdened by the past as you by the future, I suppose I'm talking about. You can't be as unburdened today as you were then. What has happened, and you must carry it with you. You must carry the fact that you wasted 20 years of your life. 20 years of your life looking at social media. You have to carry that with you. You're not allowed to forget. And look, there's still more time, right? We're all those of us who plan to live longer, we can leave this behind if we want. It'll still be like the timeline of your life. There's going to be this black line, the blackout time. That was when you were on Twitter. And then by extension on Blue Sky and whatever the fuck comes after that and the next 15 years of our lives. But we can stop today. As long as we don't wish to promote our work to the public anymore or stay in touch with our friends who are completely captured by these platforms. We can quit today and go live in the woods if we want. We have that option. Anyway, how's everyone doing? It is release day. It's ew, Sky. It's gross. It is release day for Perfect Tide Station to Station. My creation available across the nation. And I am currently making a manifestation of many people playing it at the same time, even though they don't need to. It's not a game that needs to have concurrent players. How many? Yeah, that's great. You made a game. How many concurrent players are there? None of your business. How dare you ask? People are too nosy about the success of a game. It's not your business. Hello, Edmundo. Edmundo is who we have to thank for Perfect Tide Station to Station coming to Switch with full controller support. So let's give it up for Edmundo. We're very proud today that this game happened, that this game on an engine developed 20 plus years ago, while we were all still playing the Wii, right? We're all playing the Wii. The Switch was but a twinkle in now already dead developer's eyes, right? Yokoi's eyes. um, and Edmundo has taken that code, that old engine, and brought it into the 21st century, where it was technically birthed, but not really. It feels very old. Um, an engine that is used to develop a type of game that people really have fond memories of in the 90s, the 80s and 90s. A graphical point and click adventure game that nonetheless does have purchased today. There are people who are still interested in this kind of game, whether they know it or not. And that's part of the reason that we really wanted to bring this game to Switch, is because I think there are a lot of people who have maybe not ever heard of the point and click genre, and uh, nonetheless, I think they would really like this game. Uh, yes, you're right. There are plenty of people working on this engine. It's kind of unbelievable how many people have carried this engine to no financial benefit of their own up a long, long, steep hill of, deprecating code and practices, and somehow people are still releasing commercial games with this engine, and people are still playing with it. It's free, so if you're someone who likes to fuck around with games, daydream about games, but like also perhaps have some avenue to actually ship them at the end of all that, AGS is worth checking out. It's good for the kind of game we made here. A game where there's a lot of exploration, there's a lot of text-based interactions. Although quite a few people make games uh, with spoken dialogue using AGS, there's quite a few tools to help you do that, and it's versatile, and a lot of people have worked hard to make it this way, and I'm happy to be on kind of the creative end where I can make demands on the developers and say, this is what the engine should be for. I know that there are a lot of cool things that theoretically can be done with it, but here in practical terms are things that I would like the engine to do. And it's been really wonderful being able to work with the developers that way, and create games within a small community like that. Um, so yeah, very happy. And today is also the anniversary of Octopus Pie. May 14th, 2007, the comic premiered. What should I draw, by the way? Anybody have any suggestions? What do I draw? I got a big blank canvas here. I could draw Perfect Tides, or I could draw Octopus Pie. My two characters that I'm known for. What should I draw? Tell me what to draw. I mean, you're not going to tell me what to draw. I'm going to decide myself, but go ahead and make a suggestion. Well, I won't be mean. I won't say no and chase you through the parking lot. um, yeah, Octopus Pie. I started to write about this for my blog, and then I just didn't really. I didn't really draw the meeting. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, I don't do that. No. Drug Gargamel. Okay. Um, Okay, Gargamel it is then. Here, let me pop out the chat so I can look at it a little bit. No, my worlds don't meet. I don't like doing that. Sorry. I don't like doing that. They meet. Okay, Gargamel. All right, Peo. Don't hate me. Don't haunt me from the grave. All right, from memory, Gargamel. Right? Big, big bushy eyebrows. Pickle of a nose. One eye, forming a single shape. Okay. So far, I feel like the eyebrows are understated. Okay. Now, what does his mouth look like? Does he have a lip? No. He's not he's not a lippy character. But I believe he's got awful teeth like that. And his hair is like this. I feel like there's a crucial detail of Gargamel's hair that if I get it wrong, then it won't look like him. But I think this looks a little like Gargamel. Right? Gargamel? Good? uh, okay. I feel like he has no body. Like, as soon as his head is done, there's no more, right? Uh, he has terrible posture. And he's just wearing a bag. There's no pants, right? Uh, he's got wizard's sleeves. Probably has terrible little fingernails. He's poor. He's not a wizard, he's poor. It's funny how that works, that like being uh being either poor and or an incel is very often equated with being a wizard. He's poor. Okay. Pretty good Garg. Pretty good. And then I'm guessing he's got knobby little knees and like kind of realistic looking calves because he's a European cartoon character. And all right, I'm gonna have to scroll past him for a moment. He's got slippers, I think, or he's poor, so they're just shoes that don't cover his entire foot anymore. I think this is Gargamel for the most part. He believes in pseudoscience. Are the Smurfs not American? They're Belgian. Yes? Let's see. Smurf. The Smurf is too big. And his nose is too big. Sorry, Papa Smurf. Papa Smurf's nose is not that big. Papa Smurf has a cute little nose, just like every Smurf, who also has a cute little. He's gone. He's gone. They threw him out of town. You know, that I feel like my politics are always with the left, but you spend a lot of time around the left and you're like, here's what's wrong with them. I think they are missing crucially that when you're annoying, the communists are gonna throw you out of the commune. Like if you're fucking if you're fucking brainy, they're not looking at each other. If you're brainy, they're gonna toss you out of town every time you're fucking annoying. And that just doesn't really work for a lot of like people on the left, you know? They somehow think that their society is not going to involve strong working men throwing them out of town every time they're annoying. Uh, Gargamel is depicted as a perpetually stooped man past his prime. Yeah, his little tail. All right, there we go. Smurfs. All right. What are we on to now? Yeah, they like I feel like, you know, at some point just kill Brainy. Just throw him out in a place where like, you know, they're not going to find him. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Brainy wanted to be tossed out the little bits. Okay. All right. So in the 90s, uh that was like my favorite show for a while. It was on Nick Jr. Let me see if I can draw. There's like they were cute. There's like these cute little anime uh they're like gnomes. But they're not quite gnomes, but they have little pointy ears. And the little girl is Lilybit, who I just thought was so cute. And her parents are dead. She's cute. Lilybit. She's like this, and she's, you know, she's got like a cute little a little elven outfit like that, or like, you know, her dress is a leaf, right? Like even smaller than this. Let's make her even chunkier and tinier. Like her dress would be like this, you know. It's like she made a skirt out of a leaf, and her feet are just like barely even touching the ground. It's like she's floating. Uh she looked something she didn't look anything like this. I don't remember exactly what she looked like, but it was cute. David the Gnome is a different story. Is that also a Japanese cartoon? David the Gnome. David the Gnome is more like his eyes are real. Like he looks like that terrible drawing of Santa Claus that me and Joe love. He's like that. Right? David the Gnome's happy. And his hat, he might have one lock of hair. I don't think so. I think he's bald under there. He's his hat goes all the way up. And you know, this is a show for kids. David the Gnome. There are a lot of cute animals in this show, but it was not like, you know, when I think about the fantasy of living in the woods, I'm gonna be the little bits. I'm not gonna be fucking David the Gnome and his wife. His shirt, it's like a tunic shirt like that, and he's got boots. David the Gnome. Yeah, that's him. And then what was it? Swift the Fox. He had a cute fox who's realistic looking too. I feel like the animals died sometimes, even, you know, even though it was on Nick Jr. Once in a while, some sadness happened. It was cute. It was like this. You know, just some shit you watch before Sunday school that like you're not super into it, but it's better than going to Sunday school, right? the last episode of David the Gnome, they die and become trees. Quark the Dragon Slayer, I don't remember at all. That's like direct to video shit. I don't remember that one at all. Um Oh wow, all of you remember so much about David the Gnome. Um Anyway, anybody have any questions they want me to answer? About something other than Nick Jr. cartoons. My version of Nintendo characters, just for kids from Norway. They did from everywhere, right? I'll draw the Marios. Mario's eyes are like this, right? Like they're always looking this way in my mind forever. I don't know what that is. Like it was like a certain period of Mario where Mario he's not looking at you. He's looking beyond you. And he's flying. I distinctly remember copying pictures of Mario out of the instruction booklets that came with the games. Mario is flying because he's a cute little raccoon. He's a that. Can you see his hair? Like that? No, you can't. Look, we all know what's under that hat. We all know that what's really under that hat. Now that we're adults here. Mario's bald. Come on. He's bald under there. It's just what happens, man. You get old. Brendan. You get fat. Alright. And then he's flying. Like he's flying up here. There's his feet. His little like shoes. You know, Mario. His like pockets. You know, he's got to keep his wrench somewhere. Yeah, that's what he looks like. He's kawaii. He was always kawaii. I'm a flying. Yes, Mario exploring the infinite potential of the internet. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes Mario's eyes are crossed. Even now, there's always every time games media is covering Mario, and it's like specifically like a Nintendo lawsuit, you see Mario like this. He's got his hat, but he's also wearing a suit. He's also like in his little tie because he's about to show up in court and destroy you. I'm gonna get ya. I'm gonna destroy your family. Yeah, legal Mario. Happy 19 years. Thank you, Tapato. Hello, everyone. 19 years. 19 years since what I thought was a mature work debuted on the internet. How do we feel about Nintendo saying Mario's in his mid-20s? Oh, no way, no. No, Mario is 36. Yeah, objection. Mario's in his mid-30s. Come on. He's in his mid-30s, and we all know that under that hat... Oh, here, let's draw him from behind. His stupid hair. They give him way too much hair. This is what he looks like back there. It's a little bald. It's a little spot back there. I'm going to bald. I don't like it. But what are you going to do? That's life. Yeah, he looks like that. There's a little hole. We all know that. And like, he wears the hat. He's self-conscious. We love him anyway. It's okay, Mario. It means you produce lots of testosterone. You're a man. He's in his mid-20s, in the 1930s. Yeah, when Nintendo was a young company, Mario was in his 20s. He's not in his 20s. He's George Costanza in season 1. Yeah, he's got most of his hair. but things are... We see where things are going. Yeah, Mario's popping hymns. Right. In his 20s. That's movie shit. Miyamoto is movie brained. He's forgotten. You've forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me, Miyamoto-san. All right. What else? He has hair plugs. He's like, it stopped the hair from falling out, and I even grew some of it back. He spray paints it. What else can I draw? What else can I draw? I'll do a little octopus pie. I was 21 years old. 21 years old. And I thought this dumb motherfucker was the funniest thing I had ever come up with. I'm high. It's Hannah. She's high. I'm your new roommate. Now you live with me. I haven't seen you since high school. What the fuck is up? Still being a big bitch? That's cool. I don't mind. I'd live with just about anyone if they'll do the dishes. Boing. What was so fucking funny to me about weed? Probably the same thing that's funny about it now. It makes you stupid. It makes your eyes get funny looking and it makes you stupid. It's still funny. I still love it. Weed. The musical fruit. Now, people have pointed out for years that over time, Hannah and Eve switched roles. But the truth is, I think we just saw what it actually is like to be the person that Hannah is long term. The kind of toll it takes on your relationships to be this bitch for many years. And as everyone gets older, the stakes change. Do you really want this person to tell you what to do anymore? And, same thing for Eve. It's like she gets older the stakes change. Do you really want to be risk averse and pissy and the one sitting everything out for your entire life? I think it's kind of the necessary conclusion, or at least, what I see as one way things can go, perhaps a sort of optimistic way that things can go. That somebody who's like kind of having trouble enjoying life, enjoying adulthood, would decide to, put herself out there a little bit more and you know enjoy the fucking world a little bit instead of just being a grump about it. And uh and then if you're the kind of person for whom you never even considered whether you needed to do that, uh like Hannah, you would start to feel like the world was leaving you behind, like the world was not for you. And uh and then things would be more difficult all of a sudden. And ultimately, uh it is optimistic because Hannah has to deal with that. And there's still time. It's not too late for her. But I think, you know people relate to these characters not just because of who they are, but who they decide, perhaps a little late, that they're going to try to be. You know, uh, they all change, and it's not too late. They can still fulfill what they want in this world. They're just gonna have to go for it. They're just gonna have to take a risk. What is she holding? She's holding a mop. She's holding a gross, drippy mop, dripping a puddle on the ground that Hannah is sitting in. Risk it for the biscuit. Risk it, yeah. Risk it for whatever is worth it. Um, you thought I was Asian because my name could possibly be. I probably disappointed a few people about regarding that, but uh, these characters were very vividly the way they were in my mind, and this is how I saw them, and this is how I wanted them to be. I should make a game in black and white. Yes. um, you love the game so far. You wish you had a Nintendo Switch. Well, you're in luck because the game is already available on PC and Mac. But I'm glad you love it. Thank you. Uh, yeah, no, I'm still very fond of these characters, and they still seem real and alive to me. Although I don't write about them like I used to. But that's mostly because I'm busy. I haven't been thinking about them as much lately. Although if I take just a minute to think about them, I think of how they're probably all doing some variety of what me and all my friends are up to, and it's very easy for me to imagine that. Um, hmm, yeah. What else? What else? You imagine Hannah has a raspy voice? I guess so. I kind of, I don't know. In my mind, they both sound like me, but that's kind of why I like that they don't have voices, because they should just sound like you. Like you. If you imagine them a certain way, then that's how they sound. And I feel that way about my games too. I don't really want there to be a correct way for them to sound, because I think people just like to imagine them. Draw Mara with all of her ex-boyfriends. Well, I don't want to spoil the game. I would love to draw that. I don't want to spoil the game by saying who her ex-boyfriends are. There are a few. Let me think. And that, there's a couple there that are. Is that really a boyfriend? Doesn't matter. The guy she had a story with. There would be five. Her make believe boyfriends. Yeah, no, those are for another story. Eve trying to play Perfect Tides. Yeah, Eve doesn't play video games. That was something I've thought about uh, for like Octopus Pie. Like those characters don't use the internet. Like once in a while they're shown, using the internet, engaging with the internet, but none of them really seem to like care about their presence online. They're all kind of like plugged into the world that they're living in a lot more than perhaps the average millennial in the living in Brooklyn in the 2000s would have been. You see her as you see Hannah as Natasha Leone. That's funny. Uh, a little bit of a rough, a grainy voice. If I had to choose, who would I want? I don't know. I don't know who I would want. It's very hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. They're the only gamer in Octopus Pie is Puget Sean, uh, who no one likes. Very unloved character. He runs home to play Tetris while Hannah is despairing about her ability to be an artist. Right? Puget Sean is the only character we ever see gaming. Yeah, it wasn't where I was at back then. I wasn't thinking about video games very much. I only started thinking about video games selfishly when I was making them. And I don't think about comics anymore. I go to SPX once a year if I can. I go to the festivals and I pick up a pile of comics and I read those, and those are all of my comics. Alexandra? Who's that? I don't remember this character. Is she a gamer too? I don't know who that is. I forgot my own characters, I suppose. Yeah, you have no choice but to stand Puget Sean. Well, Puget Sean got married, right? So maybe I don't know. I don't think his wife is putting any curb on that gaming. I don't think she can change that about him. Yeah, people from the webcomics boom have done different things. Some of them have stuck to it and retained their audience. Uh, I can't imagine what it would be like to grow an audience. I don't know that that's happening really. Like I feel like webcomics have like a 10-year window to grow their audience, maybe even less than that. And then they just have what they have. But for quite a few people, that's still what they're doing. And then uh, for a lot of us, yeah, we moved on to. Some of us moved on to video games. I know some of us dabble in games. My pal KC just released a This Is Fine platformer, a Metroidvania. Uh, Hannah in a Bucket, yes. Um, and yeah, a lot of my friends went into TV and children's books and places where they could continue to be talented without having to hustle the web comic every day of their lives. Uh, I can't I can't say it would make no sense for me to say I missed that because I'm still doing it. I'm still hustling the game because video games are even harder to get in front of people. They're the gamer is so distracted, so spoiled by riches that you basically have to show the game to them enough times that they're like, "Fine, what is this?" It agitates them. Gamers are perpetually agitated. Um, what do I think of the golden age? What do I think was the golden age of webcomics? Um, that's tricky. Uh, because for me, webcomics were most exciting the era before I started making them, but I don't know that those comics were like technically the best. I was very electrified by the mere existence of comics like Sluggy Freelance and Penny Arcade, but I think the wave that came in the mid 2000s. Oh, how convenient. When I was doing it, me. That was when I think a lot of the classics in my mind were created. But I also haven't followed along, so maybe webcomics are better now. Was there a character or scenario in Station to Station that you particularly enjoyed writing? Oh, I mean, I really, really found myself in love with that story. And when I watch streamers, I'm always like waiting for them to get to this part and this part and this part. And there are really so many beats that I love that I feel like the game builds towards, and that they're earned in a way that I think I was kind of gesturing towards that with the first Perfect Tides, but it just wasn't paying off as forcefully. At least, that's how it feels now. Maybe that's because Perfect Tides is like so much farther behind me at this point. But I feel like Station to Station, it's a longer game. It's a more intentional game. I feel it's such a strange feeling to me when people say that there's no, there's a lack of plot or a lack of direction in these games, because to me every detail is crucial to the next one. And I feel like Station to Station really just like rises and falls the way I want it to. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the way it establishes and completes with all of it. I get very excited when people play it because I love to hear what they think about literally all of it. And the second half of the game, which I feel like is where a lot of the big moments transpire. I don't think that's anything without the first half. So hard to really assign my favorite without taking the story apart and removing it from the context it needs. Uh, yes, Hideo Kojima gave me the rights to PT. I'm allowed to use that now. Man, that's the thing about AAA games and AAA marketing is people really do give preference to those games in everything, in its ability to occupy your mind. I saw someone like replied to like the Kotaku review of Perfect Tides that came out like a couple days ago, and they're like, "Is this a review of Mixtape?" And like, I can't wrap my head around why somebody would do that, except that to them, marketing means real game, and lack of marketing, lack of you know dollar signs next to the marketing means thing I shouldn't pay attention to. Thing that at best should remind me of the thing that I should pay attention to. There's definitely like this tendency to discount smaller games because the marketing hasn't made them real. The marketing hasn't legitimized them in the way that like a certain subset of gamers need it to be legitimized. Maybe because they're looking for sort of a unified canon of games that we can all agree on, where, like they're obsessed with sorting things and compartmentalizing things, and they don't want the field of gaming to be so varied and so hard to pin down. And it's easier for them, it's less distressing for them for games to be this thing that can be understood canonically. Like this year this came out, this year this came out, and they basically pare it down to like 10 things that were all released by the mainstream. And the alternative to that, which I saw various degrees of this last week too, is people acting like the indie games are your vegetables, your gross green smoothie that you have to drink, and that like in order to be a cultured individual you have to get behind those. And I find it all very exhausting because I really don't want people to play my games out of obligation, out of a sense that like my games are the real art and AAA games are lesser than. I don't want to make that comparison. I want people to play my games because they're excited by my games. And in order to do that, uh, I think the best way to go about it is to just make these games as available as possible. And, let people come to their own conclusions and recommend it through word of mouth. I think that's really the best chance the game has to be played. And I really do hope that the Switch release is going to allow more people to come to that conclusion. You're right that you don't want to attract too much attention because yeah, like mixtape. I haven't played the game. I personally don't find it very appealing because I just think that inherently, uh, licensing music, which is extremely expensive to do. I don't see a lot of talk about that, but it must have cost them a million bucks to license those games, and I just think licensing music. I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I have I have done so, and there are parts of my games that rely on licensed music without licensing it, but it's a shortcut to an emotional reaction, is what I'm mean to say. Uh, it's a shortcut that you can then kind of fashion a scene around, fashion an experience around. But you've already gotten that the audience much of the way there. And for a game to be composed entirely of that, I don't like feeling manipulated that way, and I feel like that's what the game is attempting to do. And I'm just not really interested in having that experience. That said, like all of the negative critiques I've seen of the game, for the most part, I don't really like agree with either. That the music wasn't era appropriate or whatever the fuck they're on about. It's woke. It's gay. Like whatever. I don't agree with that either. So then I see people defending against the stupid criticisms, and then that makes it almost righteous to praise the game. So basically, I don't see any depth to uh, the critique of a game like that at all. And you're right. If you get a certain critical mass of attention, you get people who are adoring, and then you get people who are like, "Why is everyone looking at this? I'm mad." And then they'll find any reason available to hate it and to spread hatred of it. So I'm not super interested in any of that. I do like the idea that these games, these Perfect Tides games, are building an audience brick by brick. It's very slow. It is not within the sales window of what a publisher would like, but it is going to happen gradually and steadily and perpetually because I think the games have a timelessness to them that is going to allow people to keep finding them for years. So that is where my optimism comes from, and yeah, I'm hopeful in that regard. You read the comic because uh you read the comic because of the game. That's cool. I've always wondered about that, like because I think I made Perfect Tides, uh uh and marketed it all by myself, like the first game, and I just kind of directed it towards my readers because that was the only audience I had, and I didn't have any I had no presence in video games at all, and uh there was a limit to how many people who read Octopus Pie and enjoyed it were going to be like, I need more, and I need whatever she's interested in making now, because a lot of the time you finish something and somebody really liked it, they loved it, it's their favorite thing or whatever, and they're like, I'm not really interested in following this artist to whatever it is they have next. That happens all the time. So there was a limit to how many people from Octopus Pie were going to get into this game. And then, I always kind of felt like there was a limit to how many people we're going to get into Octopus Pie. And now I'm finding that people are playing the game and they're coming back over to the comic because they have been, the game has at least shown them like if you patiently read, there's a lot for you. So maybe 1,000 pages of comic is not that bad. Um, Almost any Annapurna, an interactive game, is about as indie in terms of exposure as like an A24 movie. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not. It's not. I don't know why it gets called that way. It gets called that way because people keep saying that this label indie is impossible to nail down. All right. Well, can we cap it at like seven figures? Like if a game costs $10 million, can we just say that's not indie anymore? I don't know. That's just a thought that I had. Uh, it just seems like the more expensive a game gets, the more impossible it is to call it. Like you're gonna call fucking Baldur's Gate 3 indie. Come on, that's ridiculous. I know that the studio technically is not owned by Disney or something, but it's just like, the whole point of honoring indies is to pull things that are not being curated by the mainstream because they don't have that kind of marketing, and give them exposure based on the merits of the work itself. And if you're going to call just about anything you want that, then you're not going to achieve that. You're going to be still pulling from the pool of things that have had huge money backing. Indie, you see more and more people saying stuff like indie doesn't mean low budget. Come on. It's all about money. Like when you're talking about low budget indie games that achieved massive success, you're talking about like 0.01% of games. And you're talking about Balatro, you're talking about Deltarune, you're talking about Slay the Princess. These are games that are the exception to every rule. And I consider those games independent, but I don't consider something that like achieves the same success as those games but had that massive money backing from the start. Like that's ridiculous. I don't see how this should be so hard is what I'm saying. Yeah, produced by the largest corporations in the world. Dave the Diver, indie game, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, it's true. Like films went through this years ago. My entire, like, when I was in college and in my 20s, it was just like indie film meant, film with a $40 million budget. Come on, guys. Can't we agree that money is the basis for this distinction? Mm, what else can I talk about? Yeah, some crazy unemployed person in their bedroom. Yes, indeed. I'm not in my bedroom. This is an office. But it is directly above my bedroom. I gotta go in like five to 10. So if there are any burning questions you'd like to ask me before I peace out for a few hours, let me know. Oh God, yeah, the crazy hikikomori who made Pulse Day. Pulse Day is so awesome. Even though I've only played it for like an hour. Just like, yeah, how can you compare something that was made by a studio with millions of dollars and something that was made by one guy who is afraid to leave his house, and he writes a story about inventing a robot to protect him from invaders? Which creator would I like to collaborate with? Um, I I don't really think of it in terms of like who I wish I could collaborate with. If I have an idea, I will start to think about who I could collaborate with to make that idea happen. But I don't think about like, man, I'd love to start a project with somebody. I like to start a project myself, I have my own ideas, and I do like to just know what I'm making and then decide who would be good to help me with that. Um, are translations planned? Your French and would love to show the game to your friends. I really would like that too. The French media have been so kind to the game too. I really would love to see that. And the problem is that this game is 200,000 words, and translating a game like this would cost in the minimum tens of thousands of dollars per language. And this is just not a game that can make back that kind of money. So it leaves me in this conundrum where I have a game that I really do want to share with more people, but the text is so massive, and the ability to recoup it is so small that I'm not really in a position to do that right now. What I would like to do long term is make it easier for people to fan translate these games. I know it's not professional quality necessarily, but I think it's the best way because people are so motivated by the possibility of these games in other languages that the best way may be to make it easier for them to do it themselves. That is my hope for now, because unless this game gets a millions of dollars injection and stops being indie, there's just no financing the translations right now. I wish there was. Um, let's see. Hard to explain something on the Perfect Tides trailer. It oozed everything it is. Instead of seeing bullet points about it, you see a captivating, cohesive whole. It clicks. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. And you came about it through the trailer. That's so nice to hear. I know the trailer caught a little algo wave a week or two ago. That's really nice. I'm glad. I saw people responding to that and saying, "Whoa, there's there's something to this. I'm interested in this. I've never heard of this, and I'm interested in this." So that's wonderful to hear. Do I like Emily Eucas's stuff? No. um, I need to make an animated series. Yeah, no, I that'd be great too. That's another someone needs to drop $1 million on this right now kind of thing. I would love to do that. Um, how do I feel about adaptations of Octopus Pie? I would love I would love an animated series. I would, it's something that I've tried to make happen, not for a while, but in the past, and it's just not really viable, and it's not really something that I'm prioritizing right now. But I would love to do it. I'd be open to it anytime in the future. Um, the song in the trailer, yes. I'm very glad. Very glad I used that song. um, do I plan to port the first game? Yes. So Edmundo and I, who Edmundo helped me with the Switch port for Station to Station. We are discussing the port for Perfect Tides right now. I think now that we've done the port for Station to Station, it's going to be easier to kind of bring that code back into the first game and kind of streamline the UI there. But there's more work to be done there because mechanically the game is less controller friendly to start with. But I think we will be actively working on that soon. And I don't know how long it'll take, but that one at least I can say is in motion. Um, your work on Adventure Time and Gravity Falls comics aside, would you want to make something for kids? Yeah, at some point I think, but I've mostly been interested in stories for adults for a long time now. But I would like to make something for kids, especially as my life grows more increasingly parental. I mean, I'm not more parental every year, but more of a percentage of my life is spent around children and thinking about what they like. I think at some point that could be a thing. Will I pitch the series anywhere else? I don't know. I just don't have the energy for that right now. I'm old. I'm tired. I'm not hungry enough for that. I'm not moving my family to LA. PlayStation and Xbox. Xbox is not planned. PlayStation we are considering, yes. What software do I use to write the game? I jumped around a bit, but mostly Obsidian is where I write. Sometimes I write directly into the engine, and sometimes I write on Obsidian, which is just kind of like a an all-purpose text capture, note capture, and organizational software. Pretty bare bones, and that's how I like it. Um, yeah, the animation industry is not so great, so I'm not looking at that right now. I think it would just be a big waste of my emotional efforts right now. Would I make a multiplayer game? I don't know. I'd have to be more into game design. I feel like I'm trying not to get too into game design. I feel like when people get too into game design, uh they stop finishing games. But maybe if I had a collaborator who was a bit more savvy with things like that. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone for coming to my stream and for sharing in the enthusiasm of this day. I am so happy to see this game come to Nintendo. As much as I hate millennial hose posting nostalgia, it really delights me to have a game on Nintendo after all these years, and I'm just so hopeful that the game will reach people and have an effect on them, and yeah, that I'll be able to share this creation with the world in you know in the way my heart desires. So if you play it today, thank you. I really hope you enjoy it. If you've already played it, bless you, and I hope to have more interesting projects in the works for you.